And why to show this kind? Why overthinking?
Yeah, this is a story about three people, as you said, and it's a middle-aged couple, and then there is a younger woman coming into the marriage and sort of breaking things up. And they each have their own chapter, and we get into the head of them. So I think that if you get into people's head, I think everyone is overthinking, you know, because I think we are thinking all the time. It's like we are all nervous and we are all anxious to do wrong things, and we do a lot of stupid things all the time. So I think that this is just a story from the reality, as a matter of fact. And I wrote this book not because I'm very interested in divorce or marriage or how to not get divorced or how to get divorced or how to be unfaithful or something. I just wanted to write a story about existential questions that everyone, grapples with. And I think it's very interesting how people, you see this situation from each and everyone's point of view, and they always have a different take on the situation. My inspiration for this book was the TV series The Affair, I think it's called, where you have one situation explained from different points of view, and it's a very different situation. When you see who is telling it, you know, depending on who is telling it.
Why not to have someone to talk when I feel sad or I feel scary, to not make these errors? I don't know.
Oh yeah. I'm not sure if it helps to speak to someone, because I think we are all stupid, you know. And I mean, we all do stupid things, and we do little falls, small errors that get bigger and bigger, and that's the theme of all my books, actually. That you suddenly find yourself in a situation that you really didn't want to get into, but there was small choices along the way, and then the snowball is kind of rolling, you know. So I think it's in this book, I think it was so interesting because my inspiration for this book was at a party many years ago, when I was old enough to realize that my fellow the men in my age were already so old that they started on their second family, you know. They were had gray beards, and they were walking around with little children, you know, from the second wives. So I was at this party, and this man, he was whispering in my ear. We were all very drunk, and he said, "I am so unhappy." And he had just left his wife for this younger woman, and he couldn't tell anyone that he was unhappy because he had, destroyed the whole family. And if he wasn't unhappy, then he should be just killed, you know. So he couldn't tell anyone. But we were all drunk, and then the truth comes out, you know. And then I went home, and I thought it was so interesting because he should really be happy, you know. He had destroyed his family, and he was with this young woman who was now pregnant, of course. And he was really not looking forward to having all this thing all over again with the diapers and everything. So, and then I thought maybe the winner of this situation is not really the husband who is going away, but the old woman who's sitting in the house with the children and the dogs and everything. You know, maybe she's the winner. You know, because everyone feels sorry for her. And the man is the criminal, you know. So I just wanted to think about this in a little different way. So and yeah, I think it's a happy ending of the book, actually. Yeah.
So in Mexico also, middle people, it's I don't know how to say, no one to go to psychologist. And how is in Noruega? It's more normal than Mexico?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and also in Argentina, I think everyone is going to psychoanalysis, I think. But I mean, I know that Argentina is a long way from here, but it's still a Latin country, right? And I'm very fascinated that it's very, very normal to go to psychoanalysis, which is very, very, heavy. Like you go 3 times a week or something, and like Freud. And I think maybe it's more normal to go to a psychologist in Norway than in Mexico. Yeah, because Norway is a quite rich country, and I think the richer you get, the more dissatisfied you get. So you get more and more advanced problems. In the end, you have very, very advanced problems, and then you go. So I heard someone say a very refreshing point of view, that if you have money to go to a psychologist, then you don't really have problems. And my daughters are both psychologists, so they will not hear me say this. But I think it's a very funny, refreshing point of view. If you have money to go to a psychologist, you don't need it, because then you don't have problems.
Yeah.
But Jan in the book, he is paying a private psychologist. So he is paying so much that he wants the psychologist to tell him exactly what to do, because he's paid so much money. He doesn't want to do the work himself like you're supposed to. He wants to, and after that he doesn't get the help from the psychologist, because the psychologist, of course, say, well, what do you think, all the time, And then he goes into a church and is fantasizing about talking to a priest, but then he doesn't do that. So I'm not sure. I don't think you can really. You always have to do the work yourself, when you go to a psychologist. So I think maybe people are overestimating the help you can get there, because in the end you are alone. You have to do the work yourself, So
Two young people.
You mean the sons?
Yeah,
the spoiled sons.
Yeah, spoiled sons are.
They're horrible. And in Norway and in the States, we have something called helicopter parents. Do you have that here? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's one of my pet peeves. I'm really irritated about it, and I think that the children get too spoiled and everything, So I wanted to show this in the book, and they are Ingrid and Jan, the parents in the book. They have these 2 sons who are 19 and 21, I think, and they are not washing their clothes. They are, leaving all the dishes out and everything because they can, and their parents are doing everything for them. So I was just thinking that they think that if they do everything for their kids, the kids will be perfect. But this is not the case, of course, So I was just I wanted to just show the parenting style that we have now in Norway and in the whole Western world, I think. So people were a little shocked, and I thought, well, look in the mirror. Everyone is doing this now. Everyone is sort of curling their children, So yeah, that's. But the book won the Young Critics Award, and I was very surprised because it's about middle-aged people, and they took it as a warning, like a dystopian novel. They thought, well, this is a warning. If we don't behave, we're going to end up like this. And they also said, I'm going to be much nicer to my mother now.
Yeah.
So I was very happy when I heard that. Very touched too. So yeah.
Or to put a character which could be whatever you see in the supermarket or in your school, or how
to build a character.
Yeah.
I was actually using a lot of myself in these characters. I was thinking, who would I be if I was a man who was attracted to a younger female colleague, for instance? What would I do? Then I think I would actually behave a lot like this person in the book. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Yeah. And luckily, I'm not a man. I feel sorry for men because you can have children until you die, you know, and we can't. And this is a blessing actually, because sometimes the shop is just closing, you know, when you're 40, 45. And if I got divorced and met a younger man who didn't have children, I couldn't give him children, you know. But if I was a man, I couldn't deny, you know. Yeah. So I think it's so funny because I know so many men who said they got divorced and they're saying, I don't want more kids. I'm not having more kids. 1 year after,
I want to be happy.
Yeah. 1 year after, they're going like this on the street, you know, with a little kid. And it's just, I just think it's so funny. And you know, everyone thinks that they are going after these young women and having another family, and people are sort of, you know, looking down on them. And on the other hand, it's also a very gesture of love, you know, to do this to this younger woman. So it's a lot of things in the same situation, I think.
And also, spoil, the men never being happy as a woman, as Ingrid, right?
That's right. It's a happy ending. but if I was going to write another book about these people, I think I would have turned it around, you know, because it's a very difficult situation for a 35-year-old woman who doesn't have kids to suddenly come into a family life where there is teenage kids who hate her because she's the villain, you know, she's the criminal, and they hate her with all their heart, and the ex-wife hates her, of course, and the dog also hates her. You know? Everyone, and the mother-in-law, his whole family hates this woman who has broken everything, you know, and I think they underestimate how dramatic this situation actually is. And if they had kids there, if they had children themselves, they would have maybe done differently. If they had seen 10 years down the line, maybe they would have, you know, changed their mind. Because they can't really fathom, you know, what it is to come into this old, sort of tired family life, and then having these teenagers hating them and all that, and then having another child with this man, you know, maybe they would have chosen differently, because if they had known all this, you know, but they don't, and that's why maybe we are all here, you know, because we are also stupid all the time. So maybe we are supposed to be stupid, you know. maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's why everything evolves, you know.
Okay, so another thing that you want to say about this book?
Read it, buy it. Yeah, I think I worked a lot with it, on it, and I worked a lot, so you won't have to work when you read it. Many people have said that it's an easy book to read, so yeah.
So our next book is Estado del malestar. It's a special book, also talk about a middle-aged woman who is a doctor in trouble in a public system in Noruega.
Yes.
And also make a similar problems as the people in another book, but it's special because she has a friend, kind of, who always is criticize her. Mm-hmm. Tori.
Oh yeah, the skeleton.
The skeleton. And could you tell us where from the area to write about the skeleton who told to the woman? I think it's crazy, but it happened.
I was actually writing about the same universe. It's unfaithfulness, and I think this is a very fruitful thing to write about, because it's so much food there, or so much material, you know, because we show our existential crisis in this area, so it's so visible in a way. And I thought also that in the No y mil veces no, the man was the villain, the man was the criminal, and in this book I wanted the woman to be the criminal, because I didn't want people to think that I hated men, you know, and I was thinking women are just as stupid, you know, as men. It's just that it's modern now to say that men are so stupid, you know, and women are so fantastic and all that, and I wanted to sort of know it's not like that. We're just that stupid. We just hide it better, I think. So this is a woman this time who has. She's over 50. She doesn't understand Facebook and iPhone and all that. So she's like sitting and drinking white wine in the evening, and she's like getting these messages from Facebook, like people you may know, and she thinks that they are the ones who want to be friends with her. So she's like just pressing the buttons of all this, and then she gets the messages that so and so has accepted your friend request, you know. And then she's like, oh my God, did I do this, you know? And one of these people are her ex-boyfriend from like 30 years ago when they were both students, and he has been waiting for her for 30 years. For him, she's the one who got away, you know. And he's like, shall we have coffee? Shall we meet? Shall we, you know? And she's like, yeah, why not? And then she just does it. And this is like what I was saying, like small steps leads to big things, you know. And then she has the coffee, and she starts to have an affair with him. Actually, not really wanting to. She's just following, but then it explodes, you know, because actions have consequences. So I get more and more moralistic after day by day, you know. After I get older, I get more conservative and more moralistic. It's just so boring. But I was just thinking that she sort of stumbles into this, and when we meet her, she has sort of escaped into her doctor's office, and there she's sitting and discussing with a plastic skeleton, and his name is Tora. This is a very normal Norwegian name, so I thought it was funny that he has this very, like Jose or something here, you know. Okay. Like he should have a more fancy name. This is a skeleton, you know, and he is actually what you say, antagonistic towards her. He's always testing her, and of course this is her mind, you know.
Yeah, it's only him.
And but I needed, as a writer, I needed someone so she could talk to. I needed a dialogue in that office, so she shouldn't just sit in her own mind, because that's a little bit boring with just blah 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 around the page. I needed you know, dialogue. So that's why I invented this Tora person, and she receives patients, and she thinks, and she sort of have a breakdown, because she's been behaving for 20 years like the teacher in FIL Veces. She's a teacher, the main person, or one of the main persons, and she also sort of unravels. And Elin, who is a doctor, she also starts to say things that she usually just, she used to just think them, but now she says them out loud. She says that, oh, you have to lose weight to a really fat person and all that, you know, that's really taboo now. That even doctors can't ask obese people to lose weight, because that's, I don't know, not accepted or something, you know. At least it's like that in Norway. I hope it's not like that here, but it's like that in Norway. And she also says every other things that she thinks but doesn't dare to say. And I've gotten a lot of response from the Norwegian doctors that say, oh, it's so nice to be seen and to be understood. And this is just like me. How do you know how I'm thinking about these patients? You know, the spoiled. The patients are just like the children. They want the doctor to sort of fix everything, you know, without doing anything themselves. So they want to have these pills and operations and MRs and everything, and they don't want to do anything themselves. So I'm actually a hypochondriac myself. So I was like sort of yelling at myself in this book, you know. And I haven't really gone to the doctor since I wrote this book. I wanted to have a paper bag over my head, because this book got really a lot of attention, and I was afraid that people would recognize me and you are going to the doctor. You are as stupid as those patients, you know. So maybe I will die as a cause of this book. No, yeah. So I was talking to a lot of doctors in researching this book, and the stories they told was really shocking to me, because there was a lot of very much like the teacher in the first book, No Emil Veces, no, because everyone is really so spoiled these days, you know. We are very, very, what do you say, entitled, yeah. We want things to be, I think the more money we get, and in Norway we are quite rich. It's a very rich country where everyone is sort of rich, at least compared to a lot of Mexicans. And I think that we just push the needs in a way, you know. If we get bathrooms, we want one bathroom more. If we get one car, we want one car more. This is a very, very banal truth, but it's a sort of a curse, you know, like a human thing. Now you have to talk.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem, it's okay.
Yeah, ask me something.
What? No, just kidding. Also, I can see, again, they needed to have the support net, someone to talk. But why to back with the mom? And also with a mom who can't remember all the things. A special part to me, this previous finish. Why the mom? The mom, I wanted Elin to have had this sort of upbringing that is very, it's quite unusual. Mm-hmm. She has a mother who didn't know that she was pregnant until she was 5 months pregnant, and she was, what do you say, gynecologist? She's a gynecologist, and she doesn't know that she's pregnant, you know? Mm-hmm. And you think that this is fantastic and not really part of reality, but I know people who have experienced this, you know? So the reality is always more crazy than any book. And I know, and then she gives birth when she's working as a gynecologist. And after she gives birth, she goes back to the work, you know, like 2 hours later or something. So she's a kind of a crazy woman, this mother, you know. And she goes to Africa to help poor people, and she leaves her daughter at home at 14, and she does all these things that actually people did back in the 70s, you know. And they probably, some people are still doing it, but it was very normal to do crazy stuff in the 70s in Norway. The radicals, they were saving the world, but they were not saving their own kids, you know. This is a trope. This is a thing that was going on in the whole Western world. But she's something like Tore, actually. She's a very hard person. She's I actually like her because she's also like, she could say things like, well, if you have enough money to go to a psychologist, you don't need a psychologist, you know. She's like this hard, and I sort of miss those people because we have been very soft now in the modern life, you know. So I sort of miss those old hard people who would now be, I don't know, would be chased out of town or cancelled or something. But I sort of miss them. I think we need them, actually. I think we need a little more discipline, and she's like that. So I like her, but she seems like a monster, you know. But to me, it was a signal to the human part, right? Oh, mom always be by you. Oh, mom always can hear you and can understand you.
Oh, not in this case.
There.
Not in this case, no. But it's a kind of tough love, you know, and it's not like a love that really is beautiful and it's nice on Instagram or something. This is something else, you know, entirely. And Elin has really learned to fetch for herself. Mm-hmm. She learned to cook, you know, by herself, by just looking up in cookbooks, and she got money from her mother, and she went to buy sweets for it instead, you know. So she was a sort of a free spirit, a little crazy child who was just by herself, but she sort of brought herself up, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm very fascinated by these stories because I know some people who has lived like that. This is also not fantasy, you know. This is from real life. and in Norway we call these children weed children. Like they grow up through the asphalt, you know, like these flowers, and they can take anything because they have withstood so many problems. But they have weaknesses, you know, because of this. So this is what I wanted to write about, you know.
Okay.
So it's yeah.
And also it's a special story because the Dr. Helen, be with the man who, okay, now it's a spoil.
Yeah, you can spoil that.
Who had the Facebook, right?
Yeah.
He had the man and he stayed with the man, and the final is different this time, because I think Bob could find the peace for Bob.
What didn't understand now?
The man,
Björn, yeah,
and also Ellen can find a peace peacefully,
we don't want to spoil the ending, but I think this is a happy ending too, actually.
Yeah.
But many will disagree. So my idea of a happy ending is probably a little, you know, different from other.
Could be another kind of final.
Yeah. You know, anything can happen in these cases, you know.
Yeah.
But she has been found out. You know, that the book starts with that she tries to understand what happened, because she got in contact with this old lover through Facebook and the iPhone, and she also got discovered because of the iPhone, because her husband discovered one of the messages that she sent to her lover, and because she's you know, an idiot on this iPhone, like me, like everyone over 50, you know, we don't understand this thing, so we're like little kids with a machine gun, you know. And then she is found out, and she runs to the office, and then she's thinking about, where did I go wrong, you know, what did I do, and then we hear about all the backstory and everything. So that's the book starts with the drama, you know.
Also happy end for what, right?
Yeah.
Because we had different stories between the history from Helen and York, and I think in real life we never had a happy end forever.
No, absolutely not. And that's one of the things that I'm fascinated with in life, that there is really no solution, you know. If you get married and then you get bored and then you get another one and you get divorced and you get another, but that's not solution either, you know. You will always have this. In Norwegian we have this saying that the problem is just moving with you.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, the problem will follow, like this cloud, you know, this rainy cloud. And I think it's sort of liberating to think about this, you know.
And also you need to teach to live with them. With the clothes.
Yeah. You have to just live with it, you know. And there is no solution to life, because you're going to die, and there is no solution, you know. People think that they will be an exception. That's why I start a book with that, actually, with the patients, you know, who come in and are tired because they are tired, and then the alien says, but you're 47. Yes, but I don't want to be tired. But you're 47. You're starting to get old. You know, you have to come to terms with that. But they think, and then she's thinking, you know, but they think that they are an exception. They think that they will not get old. They will not die. But me. But yeah, all the other people. Yeah. But not me. I think that's so funny, because we're all like that. You know, we all think that we somehow are going to escape. I think.
Always thinking about the daily life.
Daily life.
Yeah, we are always thinking about it. I want to do this, my to-do list, right? And we haven't time to think about us, right? About the time, about we are alive. I don't know.
I think maybe it's good to have a lot of things to do, a lot of distractions, because if you are sitting still and thinking about death, it's not really healthy, you know. So I think that's not a solution either, you know. There is no solution.
Okay.
So that's I think that's funny, because a lot of articles I read in the paper, they have as a sort of premise that there is a solution somewhere. There is an end to racism, there is an end to sexism, an end to whatever problem, you know. Sometime in some utopian this will not exist, you know. It's not like that, you know. I think that we just have to live with a lot of things, and we do, you know, all the time. So yeah.
Okay. So anything else you want to say about this book to continue to the questions?
Yeah. Not really. I've been. I feel like I'm a very new writer here, so I'm just saying what people have said about my books in Norway and other countries, and that is that they are very funny and they have a sort of black humor, and that's. And when I write, I never try to be funny, but when I read my writing afterwards, sometimes I just laugh so hard that I'm crying, you know. So because I never tried. I'm just angry or irritated. And then I laugh afterwards, and people have said that the books are very funny. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you so much,
to brag.
Nina.
Thank you.
So let me see. Someone in public have some question to Nina. Please say yes. Yay! Thank you.
Hi, Nina. So I have two questions. One would be, you spoke about alcohol with the book Estado, malestar, as it's translated here. And it seems to me that you also joke about how alcohol is kind of normalized in, you know, especially middle class, which I think is what you make fun of a lot, is middle class problems, first world problems. But I wonder if you could like talk about that maybe, like why alcohol is something that you come back to in this book, because because it feels like kind of sophisticated to drink wine at home, and you know, but you sort of joke about that. And then also, if you're considered politically incorrect in Norway,
I don't really know. The first thing first. I mean, the alcohol thing. I'm very interested in alcohol, drugs, all the things we do to sort of numb the existential pain. You know, like I think it is, and I like to get drunk myself, and this is why I have large periods of not drinking at all, because I want to be free of it. You know, and it's really nice to get drunk, too nice. And in Norway we have these cartons of wine, you know, you probably have them here too, and then you don't really know how much you drunk, you know, you just have them in the fridge and it's like, you know, and people in the old people in Norway have alcohol problems because of those cartons, you know, because they don't, a bottle, you can say, oh, I drank a whole bottle, oh my god, I'm bad, you know, but then, oh no, I drank 2 glasses, and then it's like 4 deciliters, you know, in 1 glass. I have my mother-in-law says, oh, I only drank 1 glass yesterday, but then it was like this much, you know. It's just a deception, and I think it's very interesting to not drink, because then I see how much other people drink and how much they say, oh, I only drank 2 glasses yesterday, and then actually it was 8, you know. And I did the exact same thing when I was drinking, you know. So I think we are fooling ourselves all the time. I don't know how the alcohol thing is here in Mexico, but in Norway we are part of the drunken belt, and the drunken belt is Britain, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. Is like, and it's not like like in France, you know. Now we have adopted the French habit, and then the drinking habit too. So we're drinking so much now, you know. But not like the Finns, they are even worse. And the Russians, of course. So we're still not the worst. Yeah, but you said something else too. What was the last thing you said? It was interesting.
Like politically incorrect.
Yeah.
Politically incorrect.
You see, I think I'm a little bit politically incorrect, maybe a lot. But after every book, especially the first, my breakthrough book, which is No y mil veces no, I thought this can't go on, because it was going so well, you know. It was translated and sold, I think 100,000 or something now, and that is really a lot in Norway, because we're only 5 million people. Mm-hmm. And it was translated to a lot of languages, and I thought next time everything is going to hell, I'm sure, because this can only be experienced one time, you know. And then the next book, so then I thought, then I can write whatever I want. I can write whatever I want, you know? And then I did that in the next book, which is Estado, malestar. And this book was even more successful, you know? And then I thought, well, next time is going really to hell, you know? So then I thought, I can write really whatever I want now. And then I did that. And it hasn't gone, this book here, last book, which is We're Not Here to Have Fun, is the title. It came out in the fall of 22. It's been well received and, you know, hasn't exploded or no one has killed me or, you know, everything is going great. Knock on wood. So, so that's my business plan, actually, to just think every time is going to hell, because then I can do whatever I want, and I do that, and then it goes well. But sometime, of course, it's going to go to hell. But then I will be so old, and I don't going to care. And I have 2 grandchildren now, also, so I'm busy with them, you know.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we have 5 minutes, perfect time. 2 minutes, perfect time to one more question. Okay, thank you.
How do you see your work in relation to other writers in Norway? I don't know, for example, I don't know how to pronounce, but Vignis Hjort or the famous Karl Ove Knausgaard.
Yeah.
Just to discover how you feel this relation with another writers.
Yeah, I don't know Karl Ove Knausgaard. I don't think I've ever met him, but I like his books. I like the first books of the My Struggle series. The first 2 books, which he actually worked very well on. The next was not so well worked. But and Vigdis Hjort I also like very much, and her I have actually met and sat on the stage with, but I don't know her very well because I was you know, got to be a writer in quite late age, so I haven't been really part of a literary scene. Had I been a writer before, I would probably have slept with both of them already, you know. No, I'm just kidding. Only Karl Ove. But I haven't. I don't really know them. But I'm on the same publisher as Karl Ove, actually. But Vigdis, she's very funny. She's really crazy. She's a drunk. She says so herself. This is not my words. So she's yeah.
Okay, so thank you. It's all. It's time to go to home.